I stopped setting my husband's alarm and his boss noticed first. So for like 6 years, I've been the reason my husband gets to work on time. That's not me being dramatic, that's just the arrangement we fell into. I wake up at 5:40 anyway, because I'm a light sleeper and his phone alarm never worked on him. He'd sleep through it, hit snooze 8 times, whatever. So at some point, I just started setting mine for 6:10 and shaking his shoulder until he sat up. And it wasn't just the shaking. I'd go down, start his coffee, put his travel mug by the door, make sure his work boots were where he left them and not where the dog dragged them. If it was raining, I'd put his rain jacket over the chair. Little stuff. 6 years of little stuff. The thing is, he never once said thank you for it. Not once. It became like the furniture, you know? Just there. Then 2 weeks ago, we were at his sister's house and she asked how we both manage getting out the door so early. And Ryan goes, honestly, I'm just really disciplined about mornings. Always have been. His sister laughed. I laughed too, but it was the fake kind. I said, really? Disciplined? He said, yeah, babe, I've been doing 6 a.m. since I was 19. I said, you've been doing 6 a.m. since I met you and started waking you up. And he did this little half smile at his sister like I was being cute. He goes, okay, she helps a little, but I'd be fine. I said, would you? He said, I'd be fine. So I stopped. I didn't announce it. I didn't do the whole, well, I guess I just won't help then speech because honestly, I've done that speech before and it never sticks. I just set my own alarm for 5:40, got up, made 1 cup of coffee, mine, and got in the shower like normal. Monday, he came flying down the stairs at 7:20. He was supposed to be on site at 7. He was hopping into 1 boot, tie in his teeth, and he goes, why didn't you wake me up? I said, I didn't know I was supposed to. He said, you always wake me up. I said, I thought you were disciplined about mornings. He didn't say anything. He just grabbed his keys and left without coffee. Tuesday, same thing. 7:35 this time. He was mad, but the sleepy kind of mad where you can't really form a sentence. He said, this is childish. I said, okay. Wednesday, he set 3 alarms on his phone and slept through all of them. I know because I heard them. I lay there and listened to all 3 go off in the other room and I did not move. He came down at 8:05. He didn't even look at me, just left. Thursday, I got a text from him at 10:40 in the morning. All it said was, Dan pulled me into his office. Dan is his supervisor. I typed back, about what? He said, attendance. He said I've been late 4 times in 2 weeks and he's never had a problem with me before, so is everything okay at home? I read that maybe 5 times. Is everything okay at home? He came in that night around 6:30 and dropped his bag and stood in the kitchen doorway. He goes, so I had to sit there and tell my boss that everything's fine at home. I said, is it? He said, don't do that. I said, you told your sister you'd be fine. I believed you. I gave you the chance to be fine. He said, that's not, that's not what I meant. I meant like in general. I said, in general, you've been late 4 times in 2 weeks. And he got loud then. He said, you did this on purpose. You let me get in trouble at work. I said, I let you wake yourself up. He said, it's the same thing. And I said, I know. That's my whole point. He stood there for a second. And then he said the thing that honestly I'll think about for a long time. He said, you could have just told me it was a lot. I said, I did. At your sister's. And you smiled at her like I was joking. He said, that was 1 comment. I said, it was 6 years of comments and one of them finally landed in front of somebody you cared about impressing. He sat down at the table. He rubbed his face with both hands. He said, so what? You're never waking me up again. I'm just enjoying not being the furniture. He said, come on. I said, Ryan, your boss asked if everything was okay at home. He noticed before you did. Sit with that. He hasn't asked me to set his alarm since. He asks the phone now, out loud, so I can hear him do it.